Ops Around the Clock sure was fun. 2 operating sessions on back-to-back days, 15 total operators. Had a blast. Should really take some time to relax. Now let's get back to it. All right, welcome back to the layout, everybody. We are now a full week removed. I think actually 2 weeks removed from Ops Around the Clock. And overall, the layout performed pretty well. I got some really useful feedback that I'm either already implementing or starting to implement. And lots of other changes on the layout. So we'll hop right into it. First off, I did want to just talk a little bit about Ops Around the Clock. And, I got a couple of thank you notes in the mail, and I didn't really expect those. So I just wanted to take a second to say thank you to both Rich and Scott for sending these. I really appreciate that. It was very nice of you. I'll make sure to hold on to these for a little while and again, really appreciate them. So as far as Ops Around the Clock is concerned, things went really, really well. I think I said we had 15 operators, but actually it was more like 18 total operators. We had, I think 9 one day, and then, actually was it 9 both days? Maybe it was 17 total operators. Sorry, guys. But anyway, things went well. On day number 2 of Ops Around the Clock, I actually made some changes to the train orders and started doing some car forwarding from train to train. So I wanted to kind of show you guys a little bit of what I was doing. So these are the H06 train orders. On day 1, you'll see that there's a pair of GNBC guns on there. So on day 1, those were brought into Geneva Yard, and then on day 2, you'll see those same guns are on GS2 heading towards Nucor in Auburn. And I kind of worked it out so that there was loaded guns going out the other way as well, and then empties coming in from Gang Mills every day. So that was kind of a fun thing that I decided to add for day 2, day 2 of Ops Around the Clock, so that there was just a little bit of dependency on, each of the jobs to get things done right, so that things would run well. But overall, like I said, Ops Around the Clock went well. Layout, the first night had a little bit more gremlins come out, just because that maybe the track wasn't as clean as I really liked it to be. But other than that, things went really smooth. I got a lot of feedback, and I always ask for feedback. I got a lot of it centered around momentum. And, the tough part about that is that the feedback that I received was kind of 50-50 split down the middle of people who thought I had too much momentum and people who said don't touch a thing. So I don't know. I'm going to have to kind of think on what I want to do there. I'm thinking maybe what I'll do is I'll just cut the momentum in half. So not get rid of it altogether, but just reduce it a little bit, and we'll see what happens there. But that's enough blabbering about Ops Around the Clock. Let's go check out what's new on the layout. All right, so here's the first thing that's new. We've got a quartet, actually. One of them's not over here, of GNBC gondolas now on the layout. These are old LBC, I think is the company, gondolas they came to me already somewhat weathered and in ATSF reporting marks. So I did a little bit of work to them. The ribbing that's on these actually also used to be on this panel as well, so I had to get that all filed down. Did a little bit more weathering myself, and then I hand painted on some graffiti that might be hard to see, but it went well. I'm happy with how they turned out. They're not 100% done yet. I have some bulkheads for the ends of each of these that I ordered off Shapeways, and I've got them in, but I'm just waiting on a new drill bit to come in for my pin vise before I'm able to drill the right size holes on the bulkhead ends for grab irons. And then once those are all installed, I'll be able to get them painted up and install them. So yeah, really happy with how these performed. Let's check out what else is new. All right, we did a ton of backdrop work over the last week. Walgreens actually has a sale going on. It might still be going on for 60% off banners. So I was able to get a $30 banner for, I think it was $13, something like that. It was a very, very good deal. So I just went to town on banners. But here is what the Cayuga causeway scene is looking like now. And boy, oh boy, am I happy with how this turned out. Before we had this installed, the banner kind of just ended right here behind Geneva Yard. Now we have banner all the way to the end of the causeway and to the start of where Auburn is going to begin on the layout. This is just one of my absolute favorite scenes to shoot on the real Finger Lakes. So I'm ecstatic with the way this is looking so far. I've got a little bit more work to do. I'm going to have to reprint a banner for the bottom side here along the border of where benchwork meets the backdrop, just because it doesn't blend in very well. And I took a strip of water and put that in, but I need to go into Photoshop and actually do some blend work so that it kind of matches up a little bit better. And then I'll do that before I end up pouring any water. This scene is kind of turned out a little bit longer than I anticipated it being. This Beacon Bay Boatworks is actually a pretty neat building. There's actually a brick building that's kind of right up next to the water as well, that's not in the backdrop here, that I was actually going to use the kit from Joey B at Late Night Hobbies. He's laser etching his own kits, and the building, one of his buildings, I was going to use just the it's called the Type C. Actually, I've got it right here, so let's check it out. So this is the Style C single-story flex structure, and I think I'm going to end up using that for part of the Beacon Bay Marina building, just kind of to give that backdrop a little bit more depth. But I didn't anticipate the water coming out quite as far as it does on the backdrop. So we'll see. I might have to readdress that. I might just put the building kind of down here a little further. We'll see what happens. But overall, just absolutely ecstatic with how this banner turned out, how the backdrop's looking, and just really looking forward to being able to get water in here and do the rest of the scenery as well, because it's really going to be a spectacular scene. All right, so that was not the only backdrop that we finished this past month or so. The backdrops for the Seneca Lake scene heading south out of Geneva is also now complete. And not only is it complete, but we've also started the hill work with the pink foam going in behind it. This scene is going to be pretty neat. We'll have, of course, Seneca Lake here in the foreground as well. So I do have a little bit more either foam or cardboard lattice work to do on the front side of the tracks, and then we'll be able to get moving further along with scenery there. I've kind of taken the hot wire foam cutter and just kind of roughed in the hillside here. I'll do a little bit more work to make sure that's smoothed out and obviously fill in all the gaps before I'm going in and painting it and doing all the scenery. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Over here towards Himrod Junction, we've got sort of a larger hill to help break up the scene. Once there's trees on that, you'll really have like a real view block so that you're not able to see all the way into downtown Penn Yan on the other side of the layout. But yeah, overall, really happy with how this turned out. This is kind of one of my favorite scenes, both water scenes, this one and the Cayuga Causeway are my two favorite scenes on the Finger Lakes. We've got Hobart College here in the background of this shot, and then you can't really see it, but right here there's actually a trail that comes down and crosses the tracks and then keeps going down to water level, and then Hobart has a boathouse for their college sailing team, and I think, eventually what I'd really like to do is scratch build the boathouse in this scene. I think that would be really, really cool to really kind of tie together and really genuinely make this look like the prototype. But yeah, this is the backdrops are now complete all the way, and you can't really see very well, but all the way from Penyan all the way over here to almost Geneva. The only place that we don't have it, which we will have it eventually, is right on the west end of Geneva Yard and behind CP Jean. All right, so now it's time to talk about a project that is literally 4 years in the making. It's taken me 4 tries to get this thing right. I've gone through 3 previous iterations that just were not up to snuff, but here it is. This is Finger Lakes number 2201. It's an Atlas U23B that's been fully custom painted. I bought it as an undecorated shell and fully painted it, commissioned Circus City Decals to do the decal work. Yeah, 4 years ago now when I first started modeling the Finger Lakes. So that's really how long this project has been in the works for, which is insane. Like I said, I've got 3 different scrap shells that I ruined, unfortunately, trying to get this Cornell red paint to sit correctly. This is an incredibly difficult color to get to look good. It just shows every single flaw, as easily as any color out there. But yeah, there's been a ton of custom work here that's fully detailed by myself. I had to swap out the trucks with the correct type of trucks, and all the pilot detail and grab irons and horn and all that stuff is added because the undecorated shells just come as a completely blank slate. It does have ESU sound and a scale sound system speaker, and it also has scale sound system stitch light housings, and I do still need to do just a little bit of light bleed touch-up work on the ditch lights as well. That's the only big thing still waiting to be taken care of on this thing, but it's good enough to call it complete. And if I were to have an operating session tomorrow, I would consider this thing good to go as far as being power for the operating session. So I'm really excited with finally having this thing on the layout. It's been, like I said, something I've been wanting to have done for so long, and to finally have it on the layout is very, very rewarding. So I'll leave it at this. We'll end the video with just a short clip of this thing starting up. I'll give you a demo of some of the sounds, and that'll be it. So take care, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.